It's an everyday thing. It's an everyday thing. It's an everyday thing when you let your nuts hang.
Put up these standalone bills that perhaps pay the military, to pay federal workers, to provide SNAP assistance, or do you think it has to be done all in one fell swoop?
I don't know. I mean, this piecemeal approach where you do one off here, one off there, to make it seem, more politically palatable to somebody or less painful, it's just the wrong way to do this. There's just a simple way to do it, is to pick up the bill on the desk of the Senate and give us 5 more Democrat votes to pass it so that the president can sign it into law and end the shutdown. I get the rationale. People think about these issues in terms of, well, this one, let's do this one, or this one. But that's not the way to approach this. The way to approach this is to reopen the government.
In past shutdowns, there have been Republicans and Democratic administrations have tapped into contingency funds to help pay for these expiring SNAP benefits. Why not do that now to allow for this lifeline to continue for at least a few more weeks for people who really need it?
Well, does it make any sense to any American, with the exception of obviously it would benefit people who are receiving food assistance through SNAP, but to keep the government shut down for another 3 weeks? Why wouldn't you just open it up and have everybody get their benefits now? Again, I don't understand the thinking or the rationale behind doing these one-off rifle shots to try and do pieces of this and pieces of this. I think the White House obviously is faced with a tough decision. They have to figure out how do they reallocate, reprioritize funding, where it goes, where it doesn't go. And they're doing everything they can legally and with the capacity that they have available to them to try and make this, I think, as painless as possible. But there is a point at which they don't have that capacity anymore. And I think we've reached that point.
I think you got to take those rifle shots at this point. You got to do some negotiations. It has to be 1, 2, 3. And the healthcare, we probably still won't get healthcare after this because it's in the one big beautiful bill, and they won't pass that. They won't pass the spending for the healthcare unless that it is in that one big beautiful bill being signed. Okay, I think they need to repeal that one big beautiful bill, take it back in the office, get with the Al from the Tootsie Pop commercial, and get this thing done. Go call Hakeem Jeffries in there, call the rest of the Democrats in to vote on it, and get it done. That's what it takes, right? All you have to do is go in there and renegotiate. They're not coming to the table to sign that one big beautiful bill. They're not. Okay? That is a trash bill. That is Project 2025. But y'all don't get it.
Practically speaking, aren't you out of time here? Insurance companies have set these premiums in place. That's how they're already in the mail for people to open and see on Saturday. What becomes the strategy after November 1st if this shutdown it lasts that long?
Well, listen, we want to reopen the government, and we need to stand by our hardworking federal employees who are doing all that they can to make sure that taxpayer dollars are spent effectively and efficiently, even under the most adverse circumstances. Remember, in terms of federal employees, the Trump administration has fired or dismissed more than 200,000 civil servants prior to them shutting the government down on October 1st. We want to reopen the government. Now, in terms of health care, part of the reality is that tens of millions of people are already receiving notices in October that their premiums are about to skyrocket because of the Republican refusal to extend the Affordable Care Act tax credit. And by the way, they have had the opportunity, both House Republicans and Senate Republicans, repeatedly throughout the year to extend the Affordable Care Act tax credits, and they've consistently voted against it. That's why we need action, not simply words, a wing and a prayer promise from people who have tried to repeal the Affordable Care Act more than 70 different times since 2010.
But aren't the premiums already locked in here, or are you saying Republicans are right when you can make up for it at the end of the year with the tax credit?
The premiums are not locked in terms of the reality that if we can act legislatively and act now, we can extend the open enrollment period. We can push it back, and we can intervene as a Congress in order to actually protect the affordability of health insurance for tens of millions of people.
Republicans, your constituents, millions of your constituents, healthcare premiums are about to rise. And okay, listen, I don't know how many of y'all are on to use the ACA, but I know you got a grandma. I know you got some cousins. Somebody's about to, their health care is about to go up. Let's with the one big beautiful bill, their health care about to go up. But y'all just gotta reason with them. You gotta look your family in the eye and say, as a Republican, I will, Granny, you gotta take that pay increase or that you gotta pay them premium increases. You gotta pay it because we need this one big beautiful bill, Granny. Look, Granny, you only here for a few more years, so if you can't afford your medicine, it's okay. We'll have the proper burial for you. You gotta go tell your granny that. If you're gonna tell your granny that, then I commend you in everything that you do here.
Congresswoman, thanks for stepping out. What are the top takeaways? What do we need to know about this hearing and what you're hearing from people who are impacted?
Yeah, well, I think it's important to just say right off the bat that we are 5 days away from SNAP benefits being cut off from 42 million Americans. And not only is Donald Trump not here, not negotiating, Mike Johnson has now shut down the House for 39 consecutive days. That means he has canceled votes. It means there is no Republicans here. It means there's no one to negotiate with. And across town, the president is building a $300 million ballroom while he is set to let Americans starve. So Democrats showed up for work this week. We are here on Capitol Hill. We are having a hearing right now to talk about health care, to talk about food assistance. But this is an emergency situation, and these guys haven't even bothered to show up for work.
Congresswoman, thanks for.
The federal government has made a deliberate choice to leave 42 million Americans.
Congresswoman, thanks for.
Before we get to this, is FEMA a government program? Because as we speak, Hurricane Melissa, ooh, shout out to Melissas. They are some drastic people. Hurricane Melissa is coming onto, American soil soon. I think it's passing over Jamaica right now. They might need a little bit of aid. Can FEMA do their job? Do they have the funding? Does FEMA need to be refunded? Do they need? Are they on a government shutdown too? Because if FEMA's in this, it could get worse. It could get worse. Trust me, if FEMA can't do their job, it could get worse. Y'all got to think about that.
The federal government has made a deliberate choice to leave 42 million Americans, most of them children, elders, and people with disabilities, without any assistance to buy food. It is an inhumane and cruel decision to suspend SNAP benefits for millions of Americans. Indeed, never in the history of our great country, including during government shutdowns, has the federal government ever turned off this funding. This is truly an unprecedented time. I'm here today representing an incredible team at the Mass AGO, announcing that I am leading a coalition of 22 AGs and 3 governors from across the country in filing a lawsuit against the Trump administration to ensure that these SNAP benefits continue to flow to all of our families, not just here in Massachusetts, but to every family across the country.
And the best of us is to step in when the federal government and Senate Democrats fail to do their job. I want to reiterate, this is not easy. We are creating a parallel food assistance program or system that in fact is going to step in where the federal government is not able to because the Democrats are keeping it shut. This parallel system, which we are calling Virginia Emergency Nutrition Assistance, or VENA, is like building an airplane while it's taking off. It has never been done before. And we are restricted in that we can't just fund into the SNAP program. We have to build a parallel system. And the best of us is to...
What does that mean? Do they gotta pass? Everybody gotta go get a voucher or something like that? Like, because how can you pass out, you know, hundreds of thousands of cards by Saturday? Like I mean, it can be done. It can be done, but that means getting all the information to all the people in the state of Virginia that have SNAP benefits, making sure that you have a correct address for them, sending out cards to God knows where, and just in the hopes that those people get those cards. So if you've moved in the past month or so, that card could be going to somebody else. Or how do you receive that voucher? You know, the line for that voucher will be long as goddamn. It'll be long. People will be out there for days waiting to get their voucher. I mean, I don't even think the printer could print fast enough to get these people their vouchers. And how do you control that system? How do you keep illegals from getting SNAP vouchers or VINA vouchers? Like, I mean, you can't. It's gonna be too tough. I don't know. It's a good idea for the time being, but hey, how about you just go in there and renegotiate and get it done that way? And you can use this on the next government shutdown, because it's bound to happen again. We got 3 more years of Trump. I'm sure it'll happen again.
If you didn't do your job in business, you didn't get paid. You don't show up and do your job, you don't get paid. Why are we getting paid? We shouldn't get paid if we don't do our job. We need to figure out how to work together to get our budgets done. It's as simple as that.
So you're going to offer legislation to not get paid during shutdowns?
Absolutely. I already have a bill. We've got a bill that we don't get paid during the shutdown. Ron Johnson's got a bill that will never have shutdowns. That should pass also. But on top of that, what are the Democrats doing? This is a clean resolution. All we're doing is keeping the funding. Actually, the funding is too high. It's still the Biden funding. But I don't want to shut down government, so I support it. But the Democrats, they want a shutdown for whatever reason. How is this good for the country? Nobody wins with a shutdown. If you didn't do your job in business.
Yeah. This is when you watch the news and you be like, they're not telling the whole truth. They're playing a blame game. Nobody's coming to tell the truth. What's in, like, we went through the bills. If you could go back to past live and see what's in the bill that everybody's, fighting against, the illegal loophole, the illegal immigrant loophole that California started, and it's just spread nationwide because it's giving funding to California. And they keep inflating their funds based on how many illegal immigrants are getting health care, based on them going to the hospital and then receiving treatment and then receiving health care based on certain qualifications and all that other stuff. Like, go back to the other lives. We discussed it. But the fact of the matter is, that's what this is about. And it's not a Schumer shutdown. It's a Republican shutdown because y'all won't figure it out. Y'all have the power, but y'all giving off to Democrats as if they have the power. But you have the House, the Senate, and the White House. Why don't y'all have the power? Y'all don't have the negotiation powers? Where is the art of the deal? The author of the art of the deal is not trying to make a deal. The author of the art of the deal is holding out also. He's holding out.
The White House is doubling down on blaming the Democrats for this weeks-long shutdown over a standoff in funding plans for the federal government. But Democrats say this looming hunger crisis is avoidable. SNAP is the Safety Food Assistance Program, which helps feed more than 600,000 people in the Bay Area alone who otherwise really struggle with grocery costs. Now, the Trump administration is refusing to tap into emergency funds that could keep the program running, saying it does not have the legal authority to use contingency funds for these SNAP benefits. But California says that argument violates federal law.
Trump and his administration are willing to put more than 41 million Americans at risk of hunger, at risk of food insecurity, at risk of malnutrition, if it gives them a new play in their twisted political game. They are playing politics.
If successful, California and the more than 20 other states that are suing might be able to get some of those SNAP benefits back for their residents, but that wouldn't apply to Americans in those Republican states that are not part of this litigation. In the meantime, California is fast-tracking $80 million in state funding to support food banks and offset some of these delays in federal CalFresh benefits.
That means states like Oklahoma and Texas won't be receiving benefits. So if you're in Oklahoma and you don't get your SNAP benefits, well, you know who to blame. Chuck Schumer and the Schumer shutdown. No, guys, it's Republicans. Because y'all not even included in the lawsuit. Politics are petty. They didn't even include all the states. They just included the Democratic states. Ooh, let me call some of my Democratic state family and see if they can pass me some stamps. Like, I'm gonna ask them if they can order me something on, because if you can use your snaps at Walmart and order the food anywhere. So I'm gonna have them order me some food because we gonna run out. We ain't gonna get our SNAP benefits coming on the 1st, so I'm gonna need to borrow some.
Day and night. For some women, it can start working in as fast as 1 week.